Welcome back, guys. Appreciate y'all coming back to the channel. We're here for another Coach the Fan video. We're going to cover a little bit of the OU defense. This is a scoring drive by Tulane last week. It kind of is one that kept them in the game. I think it was 24-6 going into this drive. And they're able to kind of work the ball down the field and score. So we're going to look at some of the things that went well. Some players who maybe aren't filling their role quite yet. We get to watch Mason Thomas kind of destroy the edge one more time here. This is before the fourth quarter. This is the third quarter, so it's not him going absolutely wild man just yet. We're kind of look at some coverages, get some good coverage looks at some read 2, some cover 3, so that's some zone and some man type stuff. So let's jump into it. All right, very first play of this drive here. So this is, like I said, it is in the third quarter. You can see at the top it's play 116 of the game. We're on defense. So very first thing we're looking at here is coaches when we try to break down coverage. So that's what I kind of like to look at coverages, fronts, do it also. Coverage-wise, we can see that our corners are outside leverage of the wide receiver. It just means they're outside of them, okay? So this guy is standing inside the hash. This guy's on the hash. He's outside of him. We call it outside leverage, okay? At first, this looks like a cover 2 because... And they're disguising, right? You disguise your coverages. So they're showing a cover 2. So they're going to be outside leverage at that around 4 to 7 kind of distance off the ball or off the man. Okay, you can see here we're both at about 4 to 5. So it looks like cover 2. We got too high safety look. So the quarterback reads this and he thinks this guy's going to set in the flats. This is going to be a deep half, set in the flats. Cover 2 really goes with the 4-3 front, which is what we're showing, right? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 linemen and 3 linebackers, okay? Obviously, Kendall Dobie's out, so we're kind of running through some nickels in this game to where normally he kind of has that on lock. And Deshaun, whichever one it is. And so we're down those rolls. So it looks like they were just kind of experimenting throughout the game to find the next nickel. They kept running some linebacker type bodies in there. So let's get into the play. So as you can see off the snap, we thought it was cover 2. I showed you where they would set, but instead we're getting 3 people dropping, and then this safety rolled down. So this is like a very standard cover 3 look. Okay, so we're going to roll, our corners are both going to bail to a third, so they're all going to play a third of the field. So realistically, he would be here in a perfect world, but the formation can dictate. Okay, and he's going to come here. And that way we take away 3 deep zones. This Billy Bowman here is going to roll out and play the flats. Okay, we're going to have a flat player over here out of this linebacker. These guys are just going to sit in the middle. So you can see we're going to have 3 deep and 4 under. Okay, and then we're going to send 4 on a rush. So, in cover 3, this DB number 4 right here, okay, so you can see that he's running out of his zone. So, at our level, we're going to teach him to pass this off so the free safety can stay in his zone. The corner will pass that off and sit, okay? And so he would, just let him know, hey, crosser, and that way he can sit in his zone and kind of do his job. And it ends up being this receiver comes from the number 1 slot, and he's going to come all the way over here, okay, and he's going to end up catching this ball for a really good gain. So if you're looking for the breakdown here, in my opinion, it's this number 4 DB right here, okay? He needs to pass this off to the free safety. He needs to sit in his zone, and he could see this crosser coming back. But he does someone else's job, so no one does his job. And now they get a big chunk play. All right, next play. So here's kind of a neat formation, and this is going wild right now in the high school ranks. People that I do podcasts with, Kenny Simpson, he runs this all the time. Okay, so you got a tight end and a wing. So these are 2 bigger bodies, mainly for blocking, but they can catch football. Okay, they're both eligible receivers. And then we get twins to the far side. We call it twins when there's 2 receivers. So this is a tight end wing, or sometimes just called a wing set. This is a twin set. So at the top, what you're going to get is read 2. All that means is the DB, the corner out here, okay, and the safety are both going to read number 2. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, what read 2 is a quarters coverage, meaning they're both going to have a quarter of the field in depth. Okay, and this is probably split field. So basically, we're going to split the field. Over here, we're going to be playing cover 4, but we're getting there through reading people. We're not just going to run to a quadrant, okay? So, essentially, we're going to make a stay or a swap call as defenders saying, hey, which man are we taking? If this receiver ran here and this one ran here, we would just lock on our receivers. It turns into cover 1 or cover 0. It's just man-to-man, so we're going to stay on those receivers. Okay. Generally, the rule for read 2 is if inside receiver makes any out move underneath about 7 yards, that changes at each level. I teach 5 at the high school level. Some people can let that go a little bit deeper. Kind of depends on, what type of skill players you really have. Essentially, if he makes an out move underneath 7 yards, now this corner is going to take him. Okay, so he would man up him, and we're going to make a switch call. So now the safety is going to pick up the wide receiver. Okay, so some common routes, people will run something like slant wheel, post curl. Okay, so there's lots of routes that people like to run, and so this read 2 really takes a bunch of those away, and we can still play man-to-man without running into each other. Because a lot of times what offense wants to do is they want to cross routes. So if this defender is on this receiver and runs this way, this defender's on this receiver and runs this way, they bump into each other. Okay, just called a pick route. And so it's a way to get, or this receiver can run into this defender, and now we get an open receiver running across the field. So read 2 just takes away a lot of that. Fairly easy concept to talk about. On this side, we're going to do what we call like a banjo technique. And I know that sounds crazy, but essentially all it means is one of us is going to take the deep, one of us is going to take an out. Most likely, he's going to be sitting on the flats. He's going to be sitting in this deep half. Okay, because these guys can only get to so many zones out of this formation. And they're so close that we can't man them up, because if they were to do something ridiculous, and this is supposed to be my man, now I'm trying to run all the way across with this guy. See, so man just doesn't really work. Okay, so instead, we're just going to play a little zone to it. We'll work here. The inside backer can help as well if it turns out to be a pass play. All right, so we're out of our 4-2-5 front again here. That's kind of what OU has been based out of this year. So you can see there's 4 D linemen, 2 true linebackers, and then once again, this outside backer / nickel slot. Okay, when he gets way outside the box, 3, 4, 5, 8, 10, whatever yards outside the box, we consider him a DB. So he becomes a 5th DB. So this would be 4 D linemen, 2 linebackers, and 5 DBs, or a 4-2-5. All right, so we're just going to get an outside zone play. We're actually going to go to the end zone camera here, okay? So last week we talked about inside zone that OU was running, but now we can talk about outside zone. So, our blocking rules are going to just tell us who to block. So it should be here. Okay, I'm going to be here. I've got to get this guy. I'm with him. And this side guy can either defend this edge, or they could read it and he could work to backer. Okay, so he gets a two-way play there. We know that this is outside zone because the running back steps lead him to the inside hip of the tight end. Okay, so he's going to push here. And if you watched the video last week, remember that every zone play has options. So he's just going to look and see which gap opens up. Okay, so he can either bang it. Okay, so he can either bang it right through this gap. He can bend it back inside. He can bounce it way outside. Generally, outside zone doesn't come all the way back. Okay, there's just too much going on. But he has options. So as we see the play kind of unfold here. Okay, we're all on our double team. So a big part of double teams is knowing when to come off their combo blocks, right? So we need to get off to the linebacker. These linebackers hit the gaps very quickly here. With a low pass threat out of this set, it allows them to play a little more aggressive. We've already got this edge one on the backside. Okay, and this is where you're going to see R. Mason Thomas really show up on the front side. But they just don't. They've already lost. For him to step over and stop Danny here is going to be big time, and he has no chance of getting here. And this guy now has to pick one to block. So you can see how this is kind of disastrous play for the offense. So right here, he's decided that he's not going to bang it because Danny Stutzman is there. He can't bend it back inside. So the only thing he can try to do is bounce it. So you can see there how the zone run really works. Turns out this time there's no right answer. R. Mason Thomas on the outside, Danny Stutzman coming from the inside. This is perfect, what we call spill to force. So we've got this guy's boxing or forcing the play back inside from the outside, and everybody else is spilling it to him. Okay, so that's how you defend the outside zone. All right, next play, okay. Still kind of in that 4-3 look. So once again, you can see we have a safety rolled down here. Danny looks like he's about to come off the edge. Okay, we've got some other backers are still in the box. This looks like a little more like man coverage. Okay, our eyes are all on our defender. I forgot to point out on that last one, but both the corner and the safety were both looking at the number 2 receiver. Very condensed in the box here. Probably a form of cover 3 or cover 1. Okay, that's generally what you're going to get here versus this trips. People run all sorts of stuff. Don't let me say generally. At my level, we're going to run cover 1 or cover 3. This is kind of there's a couple plays in this lineup that Kobe McKenzie just doesn't look like he's quite ready yet. He's still a year away from being that elite linebacker that we thought we were recruiting when we took him back from A&M. Okay, so you can kind of see here, this is a very, very common foot pattern at the high school level. Okay, I'm going to work outside and make sure it's not run. But now he's stuck in what we call no man's land. So what I'm yelling at my linebackers is find work. Find work right now. So that usually means turn, get into coverage, turn and look for the opposite color jersey, right? The other team's jersey. So he kind of gets stuck in no man's land, and then his natural reaction is just rush the quarterback. Once again, you know, I'm not saying that he wasn't taught to do that, because he absolutely could have been. But you know, that's just kind of, it looks like he's a little bit lost on the play, or maybe not even lost is the word. He just doesn't have that natural instinct yet, just turn and bail and go deep. So they complete the pass here. I think this might even be batted down, but I'm pretty sure they give him the completion. Yeah. All right, we get another zone run play. This one looks a little more inside zone. You can tell once again by the back's angle. Okay, he's really kind of pushing that guard, that play side guard, and then he's going to look to bend it back. Okay. So once again, we're in a 4-2-5 look. This is a little tight for me. Could still be that 4-3. Defensively, look, we have outside leverage. Once again, it looks like cover 2. 2 high safety, although they are offset. So it could also be a cover 1. But generally, cover 1, you're going to take away the slants and force this guy to outside release. So right off the snap here, it looks like they could also be playing read 2, reading this guy. Okay, essentially when he doesn't go anywhere, it turns into like a what we would call a robber coverage. Okay, so number 1's going to work. This corner's going to work number 1. If he comes inside, then this safety's just going to set underneath and rob that underneath portion. Okay. Looks like it's probably, once again, a split field. Somebody's working cover 1 on this tight end backside. Looks like cover 1 here. And we have like our 1 deep receiver, DB covering the middle of the field. Look at the run play. So we kind of have switched that odd front look. Remember we talked about 4 eyes last time, I think. I can't really remember if we talked about it or not. So here we've got this would be a 4-eye, a 4-eye, and a 0. This is what we call the tight front in football. Okay, tight end makes this guy roll down. So I take back what I said about it looking like a 4-2-5. This is, I forgot to count the linemen. So this is just like a 3-4 defense, okay? Tight end's going to have us roll down to one side. Over here, they choose not to. Just how they're playing it. But you'll notice they slant that way. Excuse me. So, the guy rolled down is usually going to be your C-gap defender. So if he was here, he might have C-gap. But they're going to slant into their gaps this time. Okay. So now we can keep our gap being gap sound. He can play the outside. He doesn't have to be down on the line of scrimmage, where this tight end can easily block him. Once again, you can see the double teams trying to happen. Jaden Jackson says, not today, homie. We have a solo here. 68 was working with 69, but because of that slant by the defensive tackle, okay, now he's going to work up and try to block Kobe McKenzie. So Jaden Jackson really kind of destroys this play by taking out the back end. Basically, in zone blocking, if you can eliminate one of the blockers, you create a crease in the armor, and when there's that gap, you can really eliminate the play. It's like Ethan Downs does the same thing on the front side. This is one danger to slanting inside of a tight end, as he gets an easy block, so he turns almost this into like a down block. Basically just closing this gap and making sure that defensive lineman can't make the play. But by design, we have a force player coming. And there you see the magic. All right, I'll try to push through some of these a little quicker. I don't like you guys having to listen to me talk forever. Once again, you can see that odd front look. Well, they actually start playing with a defensive end standing up here. So this is a 3-tech, a 3-tech. So we have nobody in the A-gaps. We're going to play A-gaps with inside backers. Okay, and then that 6 or a 9. 6 would be head up and 9 would be outside. All right, we get cover 3 coverage again. So seeing this happen again, they went right back to that almost that same play, right? They're getting this wide receiver coming all the way across, trying to sneak under this cover 3 coverage. Obviously, it's how they're coaching at OU, not a way I have the athletes to coach it. So once again, I said, in the last video, I'm going to be wrong sometimes. I don't know exactly how they're teaching everything up. I will tell you this ref is wrong here too, but in my world, I would want this to stay deep. I'm going to stay in my zone. I'll stay in my zone. I'll just pass this off, and that way I can catch a crosser coming, okay? You want these backers, as soon as they can read pass, get back into the flats. So I should have somebody defending this area, this area, this area, so on and so forth, all the way across the field. Right, so we get all these zones that are we've got covered. But just like the first time, Ford does not pass it off. He runs with it, and he's really beat. If the quarterback can lay that out, we're kind of in trouble there. And then the underneath route, once again, fits before our free safety can get down over it. Okay. Turns out the quarterback throws a terrible ball. It's way too high. And then we're going to get defensive pass interference, even though the ball was atrociously overthrown. As you can see in this footage. Look how high that ball is. He's got no chance. Ref. Fraudulent zebras. I really don't hate the zebras. They're good guys too. Get a little reverse on us. This is pretty common in the offensive football right now. Okay, so we talked some gap scheme last time. We're getting a bunch of down blocks. Okay, we're going to get a pull kick and what looks like a pull wrap. So this would be GH counter, but they're calling it a bluff. Okay, so they're going to call GH counter and bluff. So essentially he's going to start this way to get linebackers and everybody moving, and then he's going to put a foot in the ground and come back out and lead block. Okay, and that's exactly what we get here. You see we're playing those 3 linebackers truly in the box here, and so we kind of miss out on a force player backside. He also shoots inside. So he gets all this, so this linebacker really shoots inside. Well, obviously once the play's going away, he's got a lot of traffic to run through. So they've got blocker, blocker. I think there's another one I can't see right now. Here he is. So they just had, so they got one there, one there. They've already sealed this edge. So basically they have 3-on-3 and a guy that's faster than our defensive lineman toting the rock. Okay, that's not good to get in that predicament as a defense. And if you're looking, asking, why the heck did Billy Bowman go all the way over there? Well, he has to. Okay, you've got to play this outside in. You got to get it turned back into your help. All of his help is over here. So he's got to turn this play back in. So he has to get across the face of 87. We just need more people going this way. And Peyton Bowen runs him down. I think that's Peyton. Alright, last couple plays here. Here's another chance, another time that we get in big time numbers trouble, right? So we are in cover 0. Cover 0 means every DB is manned up, okay? And then there's no center help. If it was cover 1, we would have a safety sitting right here that is just kind of running free, okay? But in cover 0, there's not one. So either this linebacker has to have him or this linebacker has to have him, depending on which way he goes, okay? But, once again, Kobe's on a blitz. I don't know whose job this is. Okay, probably Danny's, I would imagine. Once he starts running out here, they now have blocker, 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 and they have us severely outnumbered. Okay, our only help coming from the inside is now blitzing. Everybody else is on the back side of the play. So you can see we should be in trouble here. Whether the quarterback throws it late, whatever. The biggest thing is this cornerback, number 4. Someday I'll learn his name. Sorry, I've got a bunch of kids on our team to learn their names, so trying to learn every Sooner's name is not always the easiest. Anyway, he luckily fits outside. Okay, so it should look like this. Everyone fits the gap outside. He does it very, very well. The wide receiver does not block. 20 gets his eyes back too slow. Otherwise, you can see where he could go. Right? He could just go score. So they get a perfect wall built. The pass just takes him too far outside, whether it's thrown too late, whatever. And we get a little bit lucky, and he runs right into a defender. All right, I think this is the scoring drive and the scoring play. Nope, this is just a run play. So kind of the same fits here. Okay, guys, nothing's really changed. Looks like they're playing a form of cover 2. Okay, you can see cover 2. He's got outside leverage. He's just trying to push him in. He's working out over the top. Kind of the same thing backside. So it looks like a cover 2 look. We go in and make the play. We'll just get over a little quicker, so. Alright, this time I think they were looking for cover 2. The fact that Billy Bowman is running like crazy to catch up here, and I'm sure that's Mario Williams. I don't know that for certain. I don't know what number he wears at Tulane, but that guy was moving like him. You see we've kind of bracketed guys, and then we're falling off. So to be honest, I'm not really sure what coverage they're playing. It looks like we're man on the insides and then playing flats out here, just staying home because he went with him as well. So safeties are manned up. I don't know, it could be some kind of a hybrid coverage. It's college ball, they can do fun stuff like that. Alright, the scoring play. So once again, they do catch us in cover 2 here. You can tell he's getting hands-on, pressing. Okay, The issue with cover 2 is you end up with a defender here and a defender here, and there's no defender out there. And that's exactly where they're going to run a route. Well, then our defender's supposed to be here, overplays it, and so then the second route can just fit right in underneath him. Okay, so he's not wrong. I think Billy Bowman probably got caught snoozing a little bit here. Okay, he probably should have been playing over the top of this earlier so he could work to that, allowing our flat player to stay put. But it's not how it works out, and they go ahead and score. All right, guys. Hopefully, once again, you learned something today. I think moving forward, I'll quit doing entire series. I just wanted to get like a bunch of general information out, and we'll start digging in to the individual plays and like looking at the technique. I want you guys to understand, what the defenders are trying to do. I don't know what level I'll get to in depth because, I don't know if fans are honestly interested in learning the ins and outs of football. So we'll give it a go. We'll see what we can do. If you guys keep coming back, then I'll keep putting out the content. Appreciate you guys. Game time tomorrow, right? I'll be there for Tennessee. Hopefully see some of you guys out there. Boomer.